Hello everybody, Lord Almighty here. Today is Tuesday, October 23rd, 2018, and I have delayed my dinner by a couple hours to see if I couldn't catch some after-work striped bass. It's a little bit before 5:30, so I've got maybe an hour of good daylight left, but who knows, I might fish into dark if the bite is on. So, gonna be chucking around the spoon, just like I was last time, because it's an easy lure to fish, and it's pretty ubiquitous. I like to think if there's any active fish around, they should hit this. So, yeah, we'll see if I picked up any knowledge from the last time I went. Some birds just started to work right in front of me. Although I can't see anything busting underneath them. Not quite sure what's going on over there. But there's a boat, looks like it's coming in on them, so maybe they know something. Full moon is coming up. Let's see if that shakes things up a little bit. Alright guys, well, it stands to reason, at least it does to me, that the darker it gets, the less effective the spoon is going to be, because obviously it can't flash in the dark. So I made a lure change. I switched over to this plug. I actually have no idea what this is. I found this washed up on the beach one day, and I just threw it in my tackle bag, and it hasn't seen the light of day until just this very moment. If you guys know what this is, let me know. It's a pretty beefy plug. It's all wood. It's got a metal lip. It's got some hook rash, so it's been used quite a bit. Let me know. I'd be very curious to know if I found a good lure or a stinker. I just felt something out there that I think might have been a fish. I am close to a rock pile, so it could have been a rock, but it sure felt like the tap from a fish. Didn't feel like a rock. I know I normally give myself 3 casts, but I'm starting to lose my enthusiasm here, so this will be the last one, guys. Okay guys, well, it's the next evening. Yesterday didn't really yield any results, and I showed up and we have kind of a similar situation to what I had a few days ago, where we got a lot of birds working, but they're just out of casting range. Nevertheless, I am going to stick around and see if any stragglers will come in close enough for me to get a cast out to them. I'm starting off with a spoon again, only it's a different kind. I'm going with the Big Castmaster. I'd say this is probably my favorite spoon for 2 main reasons. One, the thing casts like a bullet. You can cast this thing a lot farther than you can cast most other lures of similar size. And 2, it actually rides up pretty high in the water, so you can work it slow, or at least a lot slower than most other spoons. So it'll stay in the strike zone a lot longer. You might be able to get a few extra bites out of it. Oh, there's a lot of bait fish. I just had a bunch of bait fish follow this thing in. So if there's bait around, there's a good chance that there's bigger fish feeding on them in some capacity. Now the surf is clean and calm today. Really calm. There's barely any breakers at all. I don't know what that's going to do for the bite. I've heard that stripers tend to like the surf a little bit rough, so maybe with it being flat calm like this they won't be as active, but you know, I'm still a beginner at this. I'm still feeling things out for myself, so nothing to do but give it a try and just see what's going on, really. There's a lot of bait down in here around this jetty. I don't know what it is. They're only like maybe an inch to an inch and a half long, but there's a lot of them. I gotta think that there's gonna be some hungry fish around who find them eventually. Alright, well, seeing as how the surf is so calm, I decided to switch over to a popper. I figure if the surf is too rough, they might not be able to home in on it, but when it's nice and flat like this, they should have no problem seeing it. That's my thought process anyway. I have no idea if it's going to work out or not. Alright, well, the popper was not the answer, so I'm switching over to this yellow bomber. I've heard good things about these lures. I actually have caught stripers on bombers before, a long time ago, so I know they work. Question is, will they work this evening? Alright, well, here we are at evening number 3. It's been 2 evenings with nothing to show for it, but third time's the charm, right? Definitely gonna get him tonight. I'm gonna start out by throwing this yellow, I think it's called a Gibbs plug. It's got a weird looking lip on it, but this was recommended to me by a local tackle shop, so I picked one up. Gonna see how that does today. It's amazing. Despite my lack of success recently, I actually feel pretty confident and optimistic. I really feel like I'm gonna catch a striper on any cast now. Surf is very clean and very, very calm. It's even calmer than it was yesterday. Don't really see much life around either. Not seeing any bait flipping, not seeing any birds working. Looks kinda dead, which is not a good sign, but just because you don't see any fish doesn't mean there's none around. They have a way of surprising you, in the fresh and in the salt. The reason I'm starting out today with the Gibbs plug, first of all, I'm just like cycling through everything I got in my surf bag to see if I can find something that actually works. But we're at low tide right now, and I find that some of the other plugs that I have, they dive too deep and they'll like scrape along the sand. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I wanted to try something that goes a little shallower, and the Gibbs plug only goes down a couple of feet. So I thought this was a good choice with the current conditions. Check it out, guys. You got us a drain pipe right here. You guys know how much I love drain pipes. I wonder if they will be as friendly to me in the salt water as they are in the fresh. And we got a little bit of bird activity out there. Little bit. Not a big brigade of birds, but at least there's something going on close by. Alright, well, I was wondering what other tricks I might have up my sleeve, and I do have this. So I'm going to throw this around and see what it does. At the very least, it's a bait that I already have confidence in. Alright, here we are. It is evening number 4 of my quest for striped bass. This is going to be the last evening of this consecutive evening striper outing, mainly because there's a nor'easter blowing through here in a few hours, hence the much more agitated surf than we've had the past few days, and that nor'easter is going to stick around pretty much all day tomorrow, so fishing is going to be a no-go. But I'm hoping with the approaching storm, it's going to make these fish strap on the feed bag. Alright, fish gods. You've had a hearty laugh at my expense the past 3 days. It's time to reward your loyal subject by throwing a striper my way. Just one. All I really want is one. Last 3 days you've been up there like, dance for me, fat man! Dance for my amusement! I'm chucking around the Castmaster right now because this wind is coming straight in. It's coming straight out of the east. And this lure can cut through the wind pretty well. I can still get some decent casting distance with it. So I can huck it out pretty far, even in the wind. And I kind of have to because it is pretty much dead low tide right now. So I got to do my best to get it out past the sandbar into some deeper water. There might be some fish in the trough, but chances are there's going to be fish out past the sandbar as well. So I want to cover both areas. You know, with how slow the fishing was the past 3 days, I really did consider maybe changing it up today. Maybe downsizing my lures and seeing if I could catch some snapper blues or some leftover fluke, or maybe, you know, just going to the inlet trying for some bluefish or something. But you know, I committed to this. It's my goal to catch a striper in the surf, so I'm gonna stick with it for as long as I can. If I don't catch anything, well, certainly wouldn't be the first time, and it certainly won't be the last. But I'm hanging with them. Weird. Still some resistance. Did I catch something? Oh, would you look at this? This is the first thing I've caught in 4 days. I don't know whether to laugh or cry, guys. You little shit. Stop pinching my glove and get back in there. He's not letting go. There he goes. Ah. Well, I switched over to a black bomber. I'm going to end the night with that. Maybe with it getting darker, these fish will have an easier time locating the black plug than they will with the spoon. Well, that was 4 evenings. A whole lot of casting, a whole lot of hoping, and a whole lot of nothing. In the end, just couldn't get it done. I don't feel too bad though, because there were a lot of people out fishing the same spots I was fishing these past few days, and I didn't see anybody else catching anything either. And I seriously doubt that every last one of those people didn't know what they were doing. So I just think it's been a tough few days, at least in the spots that I was fishing. So I really haven't lost any confidence. I just know that it's a matter of staying positive, getting out there, fishing as much as I can, and I guarantee you that the Jersey Shore has not seen the last of Lord Almighty during this fall striper run. So thank you all so much for joining me on this little journey, and I will see you on the next adventure.